Is it working? Nope, it's not working. Lit up.
Hello. Hello.
Hello?
Hello.
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 Good.
Hello. Nope, it's you, kiddo.
Hello. Hello.
None of us.
Testing. Technical,
you.
technical difficulty. Why would that?
Hello. Hello. Hello.
Ooh.
Sorry.
Testing. Yes. All right.
Test.
Good.
Yep.
We're live. Apologize. Had some dead mics there for a minute. We just did the Pledge of Allegiance. If there's anybody online, and call the meeting to order at 9 o'clock. Or roll call, please.
Okay.
Here.
Anderson,
Yes.
trustee Abbey,
Here.
trustee Osling,
Here.
clerk Squires.
Here.
Thank you. This is the first section of public comment. There's items on the agenda today. I'm not aware of any items that are looking to be passed today, just merely informative stuff, discussion stuff. So is there anybody out there that wants to, am I on? Okay. I'm just not resonating like I usually do. Is anybody in the audience or on Zoom, if we have anybody that requests a moment? Okay, thank you.
Brian,
Yeah.
did you want to add the equalization?
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna go next.
Okay. I'm
Yes.
sorry.
Yeah, that's okay. I was gonna do, I'd like to take just a brief moment if we can, for our service members, that are involved in, the, operation of war going on over in Iraq, or excuse me, Iran. And I'd like to take a moment of silence for those folks. Thank you. Okay, we have the agenda before you folks, and I'd like to um, entertain a motion by the board to add a number 11, which will be the Roscommon County Equalization Department. Just sent us their cost of services options for 2026-27. And I would request that be put at number 11 on your agenda. Does anybody else have any additions or corrections to the agenda? If not, I would entertain a motion to approve the agenda with the addition of number 11. So moved. Thank you, Treasurer Anderson. You have support?
I'll support that.
Support, Trustee Hoppy. And any further discussion? All those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, the same. That motion carries. Thank you. Number one on the list, as it always is, the building and zoning. You all, the board, you did receive your report from the building and zoning department for the February activity here. No other comments came with it from building or zoning other than it is here. Does anybody have any specific notes about this you'd like to talk about? No? Board? All right. Looks fairly boilerplate, like is kind of normal for what's going on today right now. So, and it's February. All right, very good. On to number 2, which would be the police department update. Chief.
Morning.
Good morning.
As you can see, I just had one action item for the upcoming regular monthly board meeting, and that's number 9 on my work session report. It's for a conditional offer of employment to Jeremy Meyer, who is somewhat local, grew up in the Grayling area, was with the Roscommon County Sheriff's Department for 7 months. And with our vacant position, we've offered him the conditional offer of employment pending MCO's paperwork being completed and physical and drug testing, a background check, and then of course the approval by the board. So we'd just like to get that added for the agenda for the board meeting.
This Tuesday.
Yes. And then looking at a start date of March 16th with them.
So MCO's paperwork.
MCO's paperwork completed, physical and drug testing, which he's done that already, just waiting for the results back on it. We've completed our background check and then the board approval,
To be effective March 16th.
March 16th.
March 16th, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
March 16th, 2026. Board members, any questions on that issue?
Does he not like the sheriff department? He
We're
wants
better.
something a little. Yeah.
No, I mean, they had sponsored him through the academy and he unfortunately didn't make it through their FTO process, based off several reasons, which we explored and looked into. So
I don't know what that is.
his field training officer,
Okay.
everybody, when they're hired, they have to go through a formal FTO procedure and they felt like he wasn't making it. So he ended up resigning pending that
Okay.
outcome.
Thank you.
Any further questions, board? Okay, very good. Anything else, Chief?
Nope. I mean, as you can see, pretty busy next door. Any other questions on the report?
Board, did you have any other questions?
I'm
No. I'm just going to say, other than it looks like the rebuild continues, rebuilding the loss of the institutional knowledge, the ICS 300 training course for Lieutenant Schutte and Sergeant Ellis, which is necessary in the event that you had to work with the federal government in any way or the state government at any incident commands for the higher level positions.
Yeah,
And so
they've completed that, and we're now looking for a ICS 400, which they'll still be holding one in the fall. They have to wait a certain time frame before they can jump into that class.
you need some time to heal after those anyways.
Yeah, they're pretty raw.
They're
So
pretty much makes you want to gnaw your arm off.
Mhm.
So I called it the lock-in. Ours was 10 hours with each one. I don't know where they've done anything with it since, but it's just a lock-in.
I think it was a 3-day
Yeah.
3-day class.
Is that what it is now?
Yeah, they were definitely
Lord.
burned out after it.
All right, very good. If there's no further questions at all, then thanks, Chief.
All right, thank you.
Appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Chief Gilliam, anything for you? In case you didn't notice, board, she has redesigned her little monthly activity report here. And certainly is shorter, but I think it's to the point, sweet. And does anybody have any questions of any of that data that she has supplied to us in many of the different headings and topics that she's given? Anybody? See, somebody else went through ICS 300? For you, who was it? Matt? Okay. Yeah. All right. Perfect. Thank you. If there's nothing further, we'll move forward. Health of Higgins Lake update. Take a peek here, what I got. Okay. So Jim, just a quickie on that. We are going to cover the septic ordinance recommendation from the Health of Higgins Lake Steering Committee. So anything otherwise extraneous about Health of Higgins Lake
No,
that we should know?
did Jenny turn in a,
Not yet, but I've talked to her.
Okay.
To me,
Have not seen.
sorry,
no.
I didn't even let you finish. I'm sorry.
yeah, for a monthly report, for
Yeah.
you, we're just transition to getting Jenny going here. I'd like to have seen her when she's got it done. I don't, because we've been talking about, it, so
I don't get I expect the minutes from her,
yeah,
but I haven't talked to her about giving me the monthly reports.
yeah.
Yes.
So,
Well, it's just a matter of getting us through this
It's a
first month or so.
yeah,
is
so
all.
I didn't
She
realize.
normally would have, she collects a report from each of the subcommittee
Yes,
chairs
yeah,
and consolidates it. and
Yes.
then,
So you'll do a little reminder too?
Yeah, we'll make sure
Thank
that
you.
happens. But I guess one thing I would throw out without getting into the septic piece of it, because we're going to talk about that. But one of the things that's just recently happened was the science committee has picked up, had an application from an individual that used to that went to school here.
Mhm.
And his dad was a teacher here, Tim
McClure.
McClure. And Ryan, his son, is a PhD with environmental science. He lives out in Colorado, but he is very interested in getting involved here. And I listened into a Zoom call yesterday, and I think it's has the potential for being a key that really starts to bring together all the data and all of the goings on with the lake issues itself. He's that's the kind of work that he does, and he'll be able to go through and take a look at the efforts that the science committee is working on right now and kind of bring that all together in a lake modeling project. We looked and talked very briefly about how the work that we're doing on the septic committee and the data we're gathering and how that interfaces with what he might do. But it's really exciting with this gentleman's going to bring to the program. So I'm looking forward to it. Brad, he's in with Brad. You got anything to add to it, Brad, or?
PhD, one of his specialties is ecosystem modeling, so it's not just, he's just not a modeler, he does ecosystem.
Yeah. Just getting started, just trying to figure out, where the keys to the men's room are and that sort of stuff. So
Sure.
he'll be a great asset. So
Yeah.
The septic committee, the roads committee has finished their work, and we're just waiting on a final kind of a paper from Tim to finish that up. Communications has been, or the IT committee has been really busy. I've worked with Ed in the last couple of weeks. It seems like every day with, moving things along on the data piece of it. So there's a lot of activity, a lot of stuff going on every day. So
I know you shared with me the other day that, that work with Ed, it kind of comes complete with the overlays of a potential heat map, if you will, there, for the future. And
Yeah.
I think that's exciting.
yeah, to back up a little bit, I've said from day one, when we started on this a year and some ago, that one of the important things to understanding where we are and where we're going and what supports where we're going is going to have to be the data. You're going to have, we have to have the information that says this is what supports this premise. And so we've been gathering data on the septic committee for one. The data about the properties and data from the health department and data from the wells, and the science committee has been starting to gather together data, and Ed's kind of keeping an eye on all this stuff that's coming together. So I have put it together in Excel, Microsoft Excel, pretty relatively simple program that a lot of people can use. Well, my flat file Excel page is 150 columns wide and 8,000 columns long or rows long, and it's just becoming unwieldy to be that big. So Ed's taking a look at it, and he's importing it into a database program. And we're looking at it from both directions. So we have a database, a SQL database that he's looking at it, which is probably the way we'll do most of the research on. And maybe we'll still maintain the Excel piece of it in abbreviated format that we can use to, to hand out to people to get sort of a feel for it. Well, the data that comes out of there is pretty interesting now. I've got it to the point where I scored I took the properties and identified, I think it was 22 categories where they had a bearing on, how well that property or how bad that property affects the health of the community and the health of the lake. And then I took my take at it, which still needs to be vetted. But I said, of those categories, how important is each one of these categories to the overall effect of the lake? And I rated it from 1 to 5. Some of them don't have that much effect on it, but we want to track it. And other ones are very important. The size of a tank, the size of the drain field. Those are important categories to know how they affect the overall project, the overall health. So anyway, I gave a rating, and then I went through the next chunk of that took that rating and multiplied it by how well that particular site performs. A property with no tank, which there are some out there, gets 0 points. Property with a small tank, under 500 gallons gets 1 point. Tank with 2,000 gallons gets 5 points. So there's a range of rating across each one of those categories. Each one of the 20 categories got some sort of a further rating. So now you multiply the weight of that category by the rating of the property itself, or of the property itself, and then you get points for it. Those points scored, some points got 1 point on the whole, added up to a single point. They have 0. They don't have, they're close to the water, which got you no points. That's a potential problem. And they have no septic information on file, no well information on file. They get no points versus others that are, that have good data, that have a septic report on file with the health department. They have well information. They'll get they could have as many as 100. The scale goes from 0 to 100. The best reports that I saw were in the mid 70s thereabouts. So these properties all range from 0 to 75. And then I took just a simple conditional formatting for that number, and it develops what Brian referred to as sort of a heat map. It gives it a score, whether it's not a score, but a color. The lowest ones are red. They're not good. That's bad. Don't touch. Versus all the way to green. So, and then it just progressively changes it all the way down. You can sort it by those colors and, see where these properties land in here. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but it seems like there was, of the 5,000 properties, improved properties in Gerrish Township, about 2,000 of them fall below 15 points. Another 1,000 of them are between 15 and 30, and another 1,000 of them are between 30 and 50. Maybe a little higher than that because it scored all the way up to 70. So, but anyway, there's a lot of pieces that are down in the lower end of it. And that's the number we were looking for, so that we can now start to go out, and eventually we'll be able to, when we vet through this a little further and make sure we're comfortable with the data that's in there and it's all in the right spots and it makes sense, and we go back through this scoring table and it makes sense, then we can we'll be in a position to where we can start, when the time comes, to send letters off to different conditions that people are in, and get those inspections done and get them out to the health department. So that work, I guess, got a little long-winded here, but
That's okay. No,
then
I think it's
to
necessary.
answer your question of about 10 minutes ago.
Yeah, it's okay.
Then Ed took that data, that number data, and he worked his little magic on it. And now he's placed that color dot that I created onto a map of the township in its color, reds, greens, yellows. And so now you can sort of sit back and look, and you have this hue that comes over the township in the areas which would be no surprise, the higher density subdivisions near the lake are heat sensitive. They're
Yep.
red. And
Those are close together.
Current Parks and Maplehurst and Michigan Central Park, all these areas that have a lot of properties on them is no surprise. They're turning red. Then you get back off the water, back by the expressway, and there's nothing going on back there. So it gives you a real good visual, which is what we were looking for. So another tool we can use to show folks about how this is.
And he laid lat and line on
what's
it,
going
didn't
on.
he?
Sorry?
He did lat and line on them, latitude and longitudes. I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
we brought it down further. Nail it.
I identified the location of all these properties to start with based on the address. That was okay, but it was not that robust. Ed then took information and identified from information available through the county the polygon of each property, the boundary of each parcel that's identified. Parcel's got a parcel ID. He found that parcel ID and identified the boundaries of that and then calculated the centrics of that property. So, and gave it a Latin launch. So we know exactly where the center of every one of the 8,300 properties in Gerrish and Lyon Township sits. And that's what was the basis of the, where the, you know, the heat map is based on. And then we modulated that color or that location by the color that came out of this thing. So it's come a long way. It's been a long time getting here. We've been a year working on it, but I'd say we've been more like 6 months at this piece of it. And it's been a long time getting there, but now it's to the point of it's, you know, it's going to be pretty useful here. You know,
How many properties are we short that aren't identified at all? I mean, on there, like I'm using your purple dot.
Oh, the purple dots.
Premise. You've got that last we talked, there was quite a few properties we still didn't
Yeah.
have into the database to know.
Well, right now in Gerrish Township, we have all of the properties identified. All of them have been gone through. All 5,000 properties.
Yep.
They're all identified with either they have information or they don't. That works down.
Okay.
The health department is working on Lyon Township, and they're got another month or so into being able to have the same information for Lyon, but ours is done. You know, is exactly, it seems like it was of the improved residential properties, it's maybe 1,700 maybe was the number that the health department has. 1,700 of some 3,000 improved residential properties is what the health department has information on. The remaining, I think that's where you're going. The remaining
better.
numbers are what the ones we're chasing to.
Well, it's not just that. There was a conversation came up because I was in the finance meeting last week, but there was a discussion about when to put that, let's say the heat map out and where to put it, whether it should be on our website, it should be on the Health of Higgins Lake website.
Yeah.
And I don't know if we come to that, and I don't know if that's something we need to discuss.
I think it is something that needs to be discussed at the steering committee and then to hear before that happens. Ed and I talked about it at length yesterday and the day before. And I think we're both sort of scratching our head about how fast that's ready to throw over the fence to the steering committee and then to hear where it goes and some recommendations about how that should
I
be.
mean, my feeling is it should go through, the recommendation should come from the steering committee
Correct.
to us, and then we decide.
When it goes out.
But providing that there's enough data in there so that it doesn't get misconstrued because we don't have the full product, and a layman like myself would look at it and make a misinterpretation of what they're seeing.
Yeah. I think the answer to your question, your concern is that we're there because the health department has given us all the information that they have. It is what it is, and it's lacking for sure. And that's part of what we need to show. That's why we need to put these letters together to send to people and to put this inspection piece together that's, you know, that we've been working on, that's identified in the ordinance, and get inspections done on the rest of those properties that are out there. So.
Because I suspect Health of Higgins Lake committees or, different ones are going to look at that and use that as a tool. But at some point you're going to want to put it out to the public to show how you got to those assumptions. And the question would be, what platform do we utilize?
Yeah.
I think there was a little concern on their end about putting it up prematurely and then having misconstrued what people are looking at.
Yeah, it's not ready. It's not ready for, there's just, it would create more questions right now
Yeah.
than, and I may have an answer to all those questions, but until I get through it just a little further yet,
Sure.
I don't. So anyway, that's just one of the things that, that's just what the septic committee and Ed and I have been working on, but the other committees, the steering or the science committee's got equal amount of really good stuff working too.
So I have one question. I know the roads you said have been done. Right? The road work. at what point or where is somewhat of the thought process? Again, everything vets through steering committee, okay? And I understand it's not there yet. But when does a discussion of funding and the partners that need to be involved to start looking at what's deficient and might need attention? Do you have any insight to that? And if you don't, that's fine. I just.
Yeah, not a lot. I mean, Tim's been out of pocket for a month and a half,
Yeah.
And he's due back, and we've asked him for, to get his arms around that whole thing, and so we know where that stands. But right now, I think we're waiting on Tim to finish up that report. So.
Okay, I just don't want to, what I don't want to have happen with any of these Health of Higgins Lake committees with good folks that have been working them real hard is if they're done, I don't, on our end, I don't want to fail them in moving forward with financial discussions of how do we get it done? What's the process? Because when they're done, I don't want to set them a long time, because if you set them a long time, you're going to run into what you get, which is a couple of years down the road, that data becomes old and that argument pops up again because your data is not current or accurate, so relevant.
Yeah.
So that's all I was.
I'd be speaking out of school if I said
Okay.
much about it, but
Very good.
I know Tim has been working
Accept
with the
that.
road commission, and I know his approach was going to be, how's the road commission going to pay for them? So we'll see if that happens that way or if it's something different, like you're saying. So
Yep.
I don't really have much more than that. So.
Okay, very good. I appreciate the work, Jim, obviously. Nobody understands the amount of work Jim puts in weekly in this place as a part-time trustee, shall I say, full-time, incredible mind. And you know what I mean?
It's great. It's just great fun, man.
Hey, listen,
For you.
I knew you were highly competent for that, but I do thank you for your critical thinking and that, and also Jim Anderson as well for the keeping his finger on the pulse of the finance piece. I've articulated to these guys before, and there's really kind of mostly three-fifths of this board over here that are keeping what I call real citizens' eyes as opposed to being immersed in any of the committees, so that we can represent that real citizens' eyes when we look at things, as opposed to being wrapped up in the minutia sometimes that you fellows are wrapped up in. But I appreciate your work more than you'll ever know. I've articulated many times. I'm just a dumb old retired police chief, and I don't care to be wrapped up into Excel spreadsheets and whatever there. So
Well, I'd rather do this than what you're doing, frankly. Sure.
yeah, it's amazing. Listen, you'd have to watch this guy and his stuff. It's amazing. So thank you, Jim. Appreciate that.
No problem.
Any other questions, board?
Thank you.
Okay, very good. Short-term rental application process. Mary Ellis is here with us today, the newly appointed, I like to call her the DTO STR, Designated Township Official Short-Term Rental Coordinator. And to give us kind of an update, because things have been moving very fast since 9 and 10 managed to put out a story. Everybody is like, where's the stuff? And we're very close to the stuff, but we're being pushed pretty hard. So Mary wanted to come. Mary, the floor is yours.
Hi, thank you.
Mhm.
Okay, so I just want to give you all a quick update on where we're at with the short-term rental app process. So the applications will be beginning to be accepted on May 1st. The app window is from May 1st to August 31st. But all of the application, all of the forms and all of the information, as well as the contact information, is all available right now on the Gerrish Township Police Department website. We will have a separate link on the township website. We're still working on that, but all of the forms are available on the police department website, and this STR ordinance is administered through the police department. So that is where you would want to be looking for information or contacting us anyway. So we are working on getting a separate tab at the top of the website just to make it a little bit more user friendly so people can find this easier. But for right now, all you need to do is click on ordinances. And when you click on ordinances, the short-term rental ordinance link will come up. Just hit that and all the information you need will be there. We have the process for the application. We have all the dates, the fees, the application itself, and all of the related forms that people need to fill out. Just a couple things that I wanted to mention because I've been getting a lot of calls from people who are concerned or confused about a few items as they're reading them in the draft and they know they're going to need them. So I just want to clarify for people that the septic and well status report from the Central Michigan District Health Department, that's something you would access on their website. It's a FOIA request. It's very easy to get. You just fill it out right on the website and submit it. There is no charge for that. Let's see. And the other one is, oh yeah, go ahead.
Because I'm not clear on it. They can go get that information, just like you said, they can get that information, but when they find that there is no information there, they'll need to make some arrangements to get that information, to get a inspection done. And they'll need to probably call the health department at this point, because we're not, our septic ordinance isn't that far along, but they can call the health department and get that inspection done. So.
Right. And we
Okay.
have their address and their phone number
Okay.
on the website as well. But initially, if you could just get the FOIA report, that would make it easier if that is available for you. If you have a more difficult situation and you have to have an inspection,
Mary,
that's another thing.
perhaps we could contact also the health department and see if they would allow us to point a link directly off of
Okay.
our sites to make it
Yeah. that would-
user simple.
yeah.
Right.
There is where you go to get it, tap on it. Now it's the health department's thing. That just came up in my
Yeah.
mind since you said that, because I guess that didn't dawn on me here.
Right. Okay.
But so maybe we can work on that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just to follow up what Jim said, because I know we just said there's how many properties that aren't,
2/3 of the property.
they don't have any record.
Don't have them.
So when they do that FOIA request and they don't get a response because there's nothing to,
Oh, it has-
they're gonna
they
have to,
respond.
they're gonna have to be proactive to go and follow up on that, because I don't know what the health department will do if there's nothing, if they'll come back, say, we don't have anything to give you, or all's good, or I don't know. I know you called them and talked to them,
Right.
but I think it might be best if we or you have a second conversation with them to say, what if you don't have anything on here? What are you
Right.
going to
What's the
do?
process?
Are you going to respond back to that person and make arrangements to go out there? Or are you just going to tell them to go and then they have to go figure something out on their own? I think we need a protocol for that, because that was anticipated
Right.
that we're not going
They
to.
turned in an application on May 1st, May 5th, and it does not have a current inspection on it from the health department. And you tell them you need to have an inspection. You have their application isn't complete, I take it at that point.
Correct. Right. And
So do they, not being complete, do they not get in line?
that's correct. Yeah, your application has to be a complete application or it moves to the bottom of the line, which is part of the reason why we wanted to get these apps out so early, to give people plenty of time to get everything that they need together. So they're out now. It's the beginning of March. You've got until May 1st is the initial date. So that's giving you time to get that taken care of. If they don't have it on file for you, that gives you an opportunity to get that done.
I think that's pretty important, because that's, people are
Right.
going to turn in that
Well, it's an
application.
incomplete
say,
application at that point.
And I'm glad you brought that point up, because I do want to stress to everyone that a complete application is required to
Yeah.
be approved for a permit. Complete application means the app's filled out, all of the required documents, forms, your fee, everything has to be in there together, or it's not a complete application.
Yeah.
And it's not fair to the people who do have a complete application for me to call up people and say, hey, you didn't have this, you didn't have that, and give them an opportunity to add or change things. Have everything together when you apply. So that's, people will have time now if they get started right away with this well and septic report, that we're giving them an opportunity to get that.
Yeah.
If
If
have
they
a little
wait
more
till
fluid
the 1st
situation.
of June to say, I think I want to set up my STR, they may not even get it done
You-
by the time it's,
Right, and permits are awarded in the order that that eligible applications are received.
Yep.
So like I said, eligible is complete and meets all the requirements. So we're anticipating a lot of people to come out on May 1st for that. Naturally, it's the first day people want, people want to be first in line for that. So if you're waiting until June or July to do this anyway, even though the application window technically is through August, you're putting yourself at a disservice because you're probably not going to get a permit. We're only giving out 80.
Yep.
So
Fair
there's a
enough.
lot of demand for it. So I would recommend that people get them in as early as they can.
Okay.
Let's see what else. Oh, and then just the other point that I wanted to bring up that I'm getting a lot of questions about. These permits are for 2027. So if you have bookings for this summer, you don't have to worry about it.
Correct.
They're all set. We're not issuing the permits until 2027. The app process is over the summer.
Yep.
And so it's not going to affect your bookings.
Nope.
What it would go into effect on January 1st, 2027. So any bookings you have after that date, you need to have the permit to be in compliance with the ordinance.
Absolutely.
And if anybody else if people are interested and have any questions, my contact information is on the police department website. You can directly email me on there. My number is on there. So just give me an email or a call with any questions or concerns that you have regarding this. And it's better if you have a question, it's better to ask it and make sure you know what to do and have the right answer rather than submitting an application that's incomplete or incorrect.
Right. It's imperative.
Just to follow up on that too, is that Barry is our appointed person. So if I get a question posed to me by the public, I'm not answering that question.
No.
Me either.
I'm one of the authors of that ordinance and I know it pretty well, but I am not going to answer the
Yeah.
question. We need to make sure all that stuff is funneled through the department and not, so there's no question about a he said, she said. There's
Well,
just
if-
absolutely will not
I
happen.
talked to the staff about that too, just to, I didn't realize you had a phone number for them to call you, but it's,
We do.
just telling them to communicate that way and just, yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to put a memo out to the staff here and I'll include all the board on it, just to that effect. We legislated it.
Yeah.
I do
Did
want to
talk
point
about
out,
it, right?
I do want to point out to the public that for YouTube, because we don't have anybody on, I don't think on Zoom today, but for those that review us on YouTube, simply put, the draft A.5-1 becomes ordinance number 50 after the publication in the paper for the 30 days required. We, February 10th, approved that document. Michelle, the following week, got it into the paper, which takes moments. And so literally, we're not quite out of the 30 days to where we can refer to it openly as the ordinance number 50 legally. And again, everybody's kind of got the cart before the horse a little bit. We are vigorously working on the website pieces. By the end of the day, I hope we'll have ours properly linked and going up so that it immediately, our page, there'll be a tab across the top for short-term rentals. There'll be an icon in the middle, just like there is normally, the green icons that'll say short-term rentals. It'll pop onto a page, and then ultimately, I guess I initially thought we could just have it redirected to the PD page, which is a very nice piece that's been done. But apparently our website company says we need to have some kind of a place marker, a place something or other, which I'm exploring what that even means. But I intend to probably, I guess at that point, I sent them this morning the short-term rental logo, and I sent them which basically is pretty much the equivalent of the preamble of the ordinance itself, the proposed ordinance, as something there. And then I don't know whether they're going to just add a link there so that it looks like I'm not a design guy, so I'm just kind of going with the flow. So hopefully by the end of the day, I'll hear back from Shoemaker, our web folks. And I do, Mary, kudos to Mary. We have out there, there's a good neighbors guide that is on that site, which anything and everything you ever wanted to know about being a good neighbor with regards to the process, the Gerrish Township short-term rental application process and important dates. Short-term rental application permit application right here. Gerrish Township short-term rental acknowledgement and agreement here. Private road / shared access easement neighbor notification and consent forms. You very easily follow. Gerrish Township short-term rental neighbor notification and consent form. So she's done, shall I say, the work for folks. All you gotta do is fill in stuff. Mary, kudos.
Right. It's fillable online.
Yep.
But
Right.
you know, there is a section, where everything has to be initialed. You need to actually put your initials on there. That's not fillable, but, yeah, everything else. The Good Neighbor Guide actually isn't up yet because I'm making adjustments to it just to make it prettier.
Okay.
But all the text that you have there will remain. And, the point of the Good Neighbor Guide is to be proactive because, it's better to stop a problem before it starts.
Yep.
So rather than having a renter come up and, you know, make noise past hours or have fireworks when they shouldn't have, we're just letting them know ahead of time. That way we don't have to turn it into a situation where neighbors feel like they need to contact the police department about it because we've informed them, and hopefully that will eliminate a lot of issues that we might otherwise have with people who aren't from the area and don't necessarily know some of the rules. I know some people have talked about the fact that we are on septic up here. So there is a thing on there about informing people that we are on septic and well, and so things are done a little differently, you know, the do's and don'ts of
Right.
working with septic and well. So I think there are things on there that are going to probably be pretty positive as far as stopping problems before they start.
Extremely well done. I like it.
Thank you,
Made them
Brian.
prettier, I guess, but
Yeah.
Chief, you,
One thing on the billable forms, we have discussed it, an incomplete application could also be a unreadable application if they handwrite it.
okay, unreadable, so fill it out.
Right, because she's gonna have a lot. of
Yep.
applications to Go through, so if she's having trouble with reading it, the writing, that's gonna be considered an incomplete application.
Okay, not your operational rules, so.
Yeah.
Very good.
And this is, you have to submit these in person.
Right. Everything is submitted in person. So we'll have the initial drop-off event on May 1st. If you can't make it that day, it will be by appointment
Oh.
at the police department with me. But everything is in person this year because this is just the most fair way to do it, because otherwise, how can you really reasonably determine the order that they're received? You know,
Well-
if people are trying to do it online or you're mailing it in, and the way
Yep.
things are with the
Confusing.
USPS, I wouldn't recommend doing that anyway. But this just makes it a lot more fair across the board for everybody, because then when they come, they'll get a number. So you'll know, okay, I'm number 1 in the review process, or I'm number
32.
32, whatever number I am. It's really transparent.
Hmm.
So that's just how we designed it for ease and fairness.
Very well. Thank you.
Okay.
Jim,
Thank you.
any more? Anybody? From
And
Mary?
on that day, May 1st, will they take it to the police department?
It'll be to the police department. Yep, you'll just come in, park, and then form a line to the front of the building. And we'll just take them, as I say, in order that your order in line. We'll take your application, we'll give you a number, and I'll review them for permits in that order.
But not that day. You're not
Not-
gonna review anything when you,
Not
you're
that
just gonna
day.
take the number, here's your number, thank you very much.
Right, exactly.
You'll
And
need
then-
some time to process.
Right, and then you'll be notified by email whether you are accepted or whether your permit has been denied.
Great
That'll
plan.
keep the line moving. Sure, you won't be standing out there for.
Was you got the turnstiles ready?
Yep, that starts
That-
promptly at 8 o'clock.
Food
All
truck,
right, very good.
food truck.
If they have Act Now out there, they can make.
We have
you buy
a cert,
copy.
a cert group to help the parking lot or, yeah. Well, prepare for the worst and if it's the best, that's wonderful. But very good. Thank you.
Okay.
Mary, anything else for Mary?
Nice job.
Outstanding work. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Very impressive. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, everybody.
Okay, we're on our way to the Gerrish Township Cemetery Committee update. You guys said for Jim Osling and I to work. We have met and we kind of went through and kind of butchered up our first things first is obviously the surveying, which Jim told you about. That is going to be contracted soon. To get the 4x4 cremain lots surveyed. Second thing, which is down a couple items, which I'll talk about the well bid at that time. What we'll need to do. And thirdly is Jim continues to work on shall I say, the schematics, if you will, of that and also the restrictions within. And we have butchered up the first 1990 some odd ordinance of the cemetery ordinance number 25, and which exists obviously since the 90s. And so we kind of went through that first one. The other piece is that we did hire a fellow by the name of Doug Kale as our maintenance guy and / sexton. Doug, as it would have it, is a retired funeral director from this. I'll pass it on. Yep, from Indiana, I believe it is.
Yep.
And sold his funeral home, came up here, lives just into down by the Denton soccer fields. And Doug starts March 16th. Doug we tapped him a little bit on the question of whether he would give us some, maybe we could tap his brain for some wisdom as well regarding cemeteries and that type of thing. So we're going to continue to move in that direction. Jim, do you have any further update on any of you want to say on the cemetery? It's work in progress.
So will he be part of your committee then?
What's that?
Will he be part of your committee?
I haven't formally asked him, but I'm pretty sure he'll join us.
I'm sure he'll be a big part of it.
What's that?
I'm pretty sure he'll be a big part of it.
Well, hey, listen,
I hope so anyway.
Yeah, exactly. No question.
Mary Ann sent me a note that about there's the Michigan Association of Cemeteries and wondered if we should be a part of that.
Well, we paid for it last year for you and we never got anything out of them. I too was copied on from the Michigan Cemeteries thing. I don't think you received anything either, did you?
Mhm.
I put both of our emails. So a year has gone by and we haven't even received acknowledgement that they got a check. You know what I'm saying? And I know
You
it's
don't-
only $45. Well,
Information for you to
I-
utilize.
I haven't received anything in my emails from them.
I don't think I have.
No,
I attended the conference last year in
Mhm.
Traverse and I see it's in Frankenmuth. I don't know. I mean, it was a pretty informative conference. It was
Right.
pretty well done, but might be worth going to, but I'm not too sure that,
Well, you don't have to be a member of this to go to that conference, right?
no.
Yeah, you do, don't
Do
you?
you?
Maybe,
You have to be-
maybe
you ha-
that's,
That's why we did it, I think, is so you could go to that conference.
So they're not
Oh, yeah.
necessarily disseminating information. They're maybe just.
Right.
coordinating.
So-
Right, but we thought they would be
But
like,
they should have a listserv where
but
you
like
can get on there.
MTA or
talk to-
yeah,
Well,
MTA has a lot
looks
of
like
good
the-
information on their website.
Well,
about
second,
cemeteries.
they got
Membership
two
dues are only
addresses,
$45.
email addresses on the application. for the-
You were able to put 3 and I think we put Mary Ann, you and I.
So you all should be getting. some.
Nobody's gotten anything.
Mary Ann must have, because she said, she forwarded me this information. So, or she got.
Well, I got sent that information through the, cause that's under the
Somebody else.
Municipal Clerks Association.
Okay.
That cemetery group is under that. I get that information through them.
Okay. Well, it's, look
you
like
just-
these
you know what
dues
you
are
wanna do.
$45. The dues are $45 to be
Yeah,
a
the dues
member,
aren't much.
and then $170 to go to the conference.
So
for a
the
couple
200
days.
included the comp.
Yeah. Yeah.
You just said $200, but that, he just said the dues are only $45.
I didn't say $200.
I thought I heard you say that.
I didn't say that.
Looks like, it's a couple $100 a year.
You think?
Wow.
Yeah, no, I said it's cheap enough. It's only $45, but you have to be
Well, I don't
a
see,
member to go to their conferences.
well, that
Or
makes,
you pay a higher
that
amount.
makes sense.
Yeah. So just let us know what's wrong with you, Jim.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
Well,
Okay, anything more, John, on the cemetery? We'll just continue to work that process. Number 7, probably that we'll forward to Tuesday's meeting is you all have got the latest, it's called revision 2 of the solid waste collection agreement. This is the GFL. We technically expire on March 31st. And with them, and I've been working behind the scenes. Jim met with me, gosh, in the fall, we met with the general manager there for GFL to begin working on that contract again. After some kind of figuring out what documents were to begin with from the first one, we did have a hard copy, but we didn't have a manipulatable copy. So anyways, moral to the story is that we are going to be looking to continue, do a renewal for a 5-year period of time through 2031, March 31st, 2031. And we will, it's a it provides for 3%
per year.
per year, which I thought was really good. And
And that matches our budget assumptions.
yeah, it does. And then the only other change that came in there, it is all personalized to Gerrish with the critter keepers and all the rest of that. Nothing changes on that. And the only other change was they requested the used to be if diesel got over $4.40 or whatever, they requested that go to $5 a gallon. Then of course, and there is a cited place in which they look for that piece. It did not happen obviously in the previous contract at all.
No, I remember they
So-
sent a letter out
Yeah.
when that all was
Yeah.
starting to happen.
Yeah, it talks about a fuel surcharge. That's what we're talking about. But it refers to the EIA and the U.S. Energy Administration diesel fuel prices, Midwest PADD 2. So I think that's innocuous. It kind of goes with the place. So I would like to place this on the agenda for authorizing me to go ahead and sign this contract with GFL and get their signature, and so that we're set for the next 5 anyways.
The only thing that I shared with you earlier was that, they gave everybody containers when they first got the contract.
Yep.
And we're going into another 5 years. Now, my containers still are
Yep.
fine, but I suspect that, wheels are gonna be coming off and things are gonna start breaking on the existing ones that we have. and
They're
our-
good about replacing.
And they'll
Yeah,
take care of it,
Yeah.
is what I've been told.
that's what they've done so far.
I actually wrote some language in there
Did you?
to make sure that everything in here other than just a complete illusion to
Well,
that
they're pretty
effect.
hardy, but I will tell you.
Yeah, if the
along
wheels
with-
come off,
along
who
with
buys?
Mailboxes
Right.
this winter,
Yeah.
I got, a whole slew of mailboxes down in the ditch
Okay.
along my road, and
Yeah.
a lot of those containers from people that put them out. They're blown,
Yeah.
10 feet back, and
You put about 2 miles a week on your containers though, from your place.
yeah, they get a workout when they go down my driveway.
But yeah, they have so far been good about, because the wheels coming off is a thing, so.
Well,
Yeah,
I'm
and they.
just saying,
they've been
for the
okay
most
with
part,
replacing
the only movable parts on there is where the top,
The
hinge
lid
and the wheels, and
Yeah,
they're just, things are gonna start breaking, and
Yeah.
I just, we're going into another 5 years. it's not gonna be everybody gets a new container because we've got a new contract. It's existing. I just want
Yeah.
to make sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I talked to him specifically about that, in his first proposal to us, it wasn't there because come to find out, they didn't draft this document.
Yeah, you told me.
I found out that, our attorney actually drafted the original document, for that board at the time. And, so it's very specific to Gerrish Township. And, let me see here, cart provided for residents, 95-gallon cart provided for each residence for recycling at no additional cost. So I wrote and I asked him if I could write in a little bit of language to that effect to cover what you're talking about. And he told me he didn't have any issue with that. He would be just waiting on our movement to then sign the agreement on their end. So it sounds like we have an agreement and it's just a matter of, once again, our governmental process catching up. So anybody opposed to, because if not, you're going to have to figure out how we're going to get trash pickup. All right, very good. That I've got that noted and I'll get a motion together for that as well. Thank you. I just put this on there. This is nothing before you other than I really feel like I need you guys' potential graces, whether it's a motion or otherwise, on Tuesday, because I got an estimate for the cemetery for the well. And the estimate that I got from our well person that did the well down here last year was like 12. Here, I'm going to send it around. The estimate that I got, which it was only an estimate because I knew we weren't buying it, right? Was like 12,471.
That was in the fall, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. We currently have no water down there. Of course,
Right.
it's been shut off, anybody's but it wouldn't have water. Point. And so because the estimate was 12,471, our policy manual says anything $10,000 or more, they'll go out to bid. So I'm looking for the board, maybe potentially Tuesday, or I don't know whether you guys want a motion to authorize me to begin the bid process for the well, because we're now March 5th and we'll have to get on somebody's schedule. And I don't know how fast it can be done. It's spring. Some other people may be already on the list. That we're always government and slow.
The only thing I.
And it's after the budget year. So.
I think that's exactly what we should do,
Mhm.
but let's just make sure, I don't know how you're gonna spec it.
I do.
Because I do. Okay, good.
I got
I
that.
just want to make sure
Mhm.
we get a bid that's apples and apples,
Yep.
not,
Absolutely.
Yeah,
They're going
somebody-
to have to contact me for bids.
but somebody puts a smaller motor or different tank or no tank
Yeah.
or whatever, and then.
I'm not going to be able to put bid specs in the paper. It just cost prohibitive. They're going to see me on it. I will
Yeah.
have those specs. And
That's all I care about.
And I will also have a spec document that can be handed to anybody that might walk in that wants to bid it.
Ron, I think you and I talked about it, but we should.
Variable speed pump
Yeah.
frequency.
Okay.
Yep. Variable
Frequency
frequency pump.
We did talk about it.
I've got to do, before I put it to bid, I want to do a little bit
Sure.
of research on what the market value of that is. And then also, what would it save us,
Yeah.
in the ultimate end, considering. And this pump, or this well and the pump, would be spec'd out so that it could also handle an increased load in the cemetery to go south to provide some water down to the new opening stuff. That does not include the costs of taking it down there.
Right.
It's just would be the unit we would need to push that kind of water when necessary. So, all right. So you guys want to give me want to do a
Yep.
motion on that on move to authorize
Yep.
for me to begin the bid spec process or the bid process?
Yep.
Please bid well. And do you want to leave it open for 30 days? On my announcement, what would you like?
Well, with-
May 10th, it'll be March 10th. when we approve the author and authorize me to get a bid.
Yeah, I don't think it's a
I know.
problem because with frost laws, they're always gonna be coming out there for 30 days anyway.
So we'll have them back by, what's the meeting in April? You know?
Yeah, it's the second Tuesday of.
The work session or the, yeah,
Well, the work session would be great so that we
yeah,
can
that's the second.
do a
April
opening,
2nd.
but we don't award until that following Tuesday.
Okay, and that's.
So the work session is when?
The second,
April 2nd?
and then the board meeting, the nighttime is the 14th.
It is the 14th.
And April,
That.
April 14th is is the regular, so you're going to be out April 14th for the approval unless you do it, open them and award on April 2nd. And that's you guys' decision, but I need to know what we're doing.
Have anybody doing any work before then?
Okay?
Yeah, but we'll be
Is that the way y'all feel?
So you're looking at
I
having.
want to have them back by April 2nd so we can open them at the work session and review them.
Not award them until the following.
Not award them until the regular board meeting on the 14th.
Okay.
That work?
Just when the calendar falls.
Well,
the 14th.
I don't have a problem if you have them submitted by April 1st, open them on the 2nd, and then even if we want,
Well, that's what. I
unless
would do.
you'd have an
That's what he said.
opportunity to review them and then make a recommendation on the 2nd
Yeah.
and make the motion on that day.
Oh, make the motion on that.
I don't have yeah,
Yeah, because otherwise we're gonna be pushed all the way to the 14th, the way. it
unless
looks.
guys are gonna get busy in the spring.
Well, let's go back then. And so we'll have them to us. Give me a, well, this is the 5th. That would be what, March 31st? No, let's go earlier than that. March 30th? 2 days? Give me 2 days, for God's sakes.
Well, 30th gives you,
It's a Monday.
that's Monday, and then you got till Thursday to have a recommendation.
So 30th at 8 AM, March 30th at 8 AM. Does that give me enough time? Today's March 5th, 10th. That's not very much time.
It
that's not
will
enough.
go into the paper till
Okay.
next
No,
week.
no, it's just not enough time. We can't do that.
Can you?
We
They-
can have them in by April 1 and then we'll do the 14th. That's plenty enough.
Okay,
I don't think, listen, even when you award it, they're not going to run right out there the next day.
we're not
gonna
gonna
be-
need to water anything until
Yeah.
May or
Right.
June. at the-
Well, you didn't have water the last month and a half, I think, of the fall, and we couldn't, obviously in the winter, you can't drill it. And so by the time we'd done all the governmental processes. Okay, so I'm gonna request that, that
No, the residents are.
they're in April 1 and we can review them, open them on April 1 and then we'll 14th do whatever we need to do, okay?
I mean,
And I'll do my best to try and review them before then. April 2nd is our board meeting. We have them by
session.
we have them by 8 AM, April 1.
Oh, okay. You saw that.
Yep, I do. Or if you want to make them that
It's okay.
Friday at 4 o'clock, we can too.
I was trying to see. what the
March,
date was.
what's the Friday before April 1?
27th of March. Is that
It's
enough time
only-
for? Like 3 weeks in one day.
No, I think
From now.
you should give him that Monday. I think you should give him that Monday.
Well, I can give them till 4 o'clock that Monday if you
Let's do
want.
that,
Okay,
because we're not gonna look at him till the next day, so
4 o'clock
let's give him all the time. that we can.
Monday, and then we'll look at them all together. And, hopefully there'll be something there that we can
Yes.
vote on. Okay, I'll make some motion of that
Okay.
factor before, next week's meeting. All right. Septic ordinance, the Health of Higgins Lake Steering Committee, and I called it a discussion. So we all got, shall I say, the draft, if you will, of apparently what the steering committee, not apparently, they did. They looked at it and decided to send it to the Gerrish Township Board. And so our next review of this would be, when do we send it to the Planning Commission, or are we comfortable with the way that things are written and any of the above? And so since, I don't know when that happened, but it wasn't very long ago.
No, I was gonna say,
So-
I'm not even prepared for just.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so what I thought I would propose today is, let's, I propose that the board take its 30 days. And we can agenda that for discussion on April 2nd at that work session and then ultimately decide we can send it forward if we want to at that, if we're all happy with that. But I'd like some time with it because again, I call myself realize because I haven't been embroiled in it. And so I just want to kind of real citizenize it for myself. Is that that,
That's how I.
how do y'all
too.
feel about that?
I shouldn't spend any time on it.
How do y'all feel about it? I guess what I'm saying.
I don't have a problem. I think we should wait 30 days because I haven't really read this in detail,
Me
but I
neither.
guess if,
I should.
unless there's a substantial problem with the way it is,
Right.
I don't think
Me
we
too.
should tweak this.
Agreed.
because our job, the steering committee did their
job.
due diligence after the septic committee did a huge amount of due diligence.
Yep.
It's going to us. Our job at this point would be then to give it to the planning
Planning
commission because I don't think we should be tweaking it before it gets there.
Amen.
Because our opportunity to do that will come when it comes back from the
Yeah,
planning.
we ultimately have that.
Well, then, with
So-
that being said, your next planning commission meeting is,
This next week.
yeah,
Well, the problem that is in fairness to the planning commission.
I'm not going to dump.
If
I'm going
any
to discuss
board
this
member-
with them. They're going to ask.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think we need to tell them it's coming. The planning commission's
Yeah.
busy with the master plan anyways.
Right.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
they know this is
Right,
imminent.
right.
But I just, unless you feel differently about
Mm-hmm.
this,
No, I think the board should take,
Yeah.
I agree, they should take the 30 days. I believe there's other stuff that from the septic committee, frankly, that's gonna, have an impact on this. That'll either go to planning commission eventually or wherever it sits. Some of the details that we would make recommendations that the planning commission consider, how the inspection should go, that sort of stuff. So
but this document, is this septic committee's rubber, is it stamped at this point? Or are you saying that they would like to see
No.
changes to this?
no,
Yes.
it is
What
it's
it
ready
is.
to go.
Okay.
Yep, it's ready for.
So
Yep.
I think, and I guess I'm gonna leave that to you. Do you want me to share any of this with the planning commission next week? at
You
this
can share the
point?
process we've chosen to follow.
I mean, do you want this document handed to them or do you want to wait till after I?
Well, here's one of my thoughts on it is, again, I haven't had the moments to literally go through this with what I'll call real eyes and really drill it down. I have no expertise in it, but I haven't gone through it to say, yeah, no, that's probably not going to be a non-starter in the end. I want to ship nothing to allude to the planning commission. If there's some real deal breaker in it,
Yeah, I
for
think
the
it's
final
wise.
end, I think that I'd like to give it to them when we give it to them that, the board currently would have concerns about X, Y, or Z.
I think that's the way it should work. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
one of the members is sitting in the audience. That's okay with you then, Brad, too? You kind of agree with that?
Yeah. Yeah, at some point. Planning commission might have to look at special meetings, but we don't meet again until.
Yeah.
Middle of May and then.
Yep. Yep.
Then again in July.
We
Yeah.
may have to meet sooner as we get closer to wrapping up the master plan. I mean, I don't see us just keep every 2 months. Once we get towards the end of that, we might have to have some other meetings, but I don't think it's an eminent thing where we have to move on this immediately. So it'll take some time with the planning commission, but yeah, so I agree with that. I'll just give them a report verbally, but I'm not going to hand
Yes.
over this document until the
I
rest.
still want, if a board member goes through it, and I mean, you've got real heartburn with something that ultimately could derail any of the process. I think we owe it to our planning commission up front to
Yeah.
tell them, look, a little bit of concern here. I don't know whether there's some verbiage changes you could do or anything like that before it comes back to me, because I don't want to sit here and, shall I say, sink it in the final hour because we didn't
Yeah.
speak up. I don't think that's fair to anybody that's worked on it.
And I really would hope what comes out of the planning
don't think it
commission
will.
doesn't come back and require us to have that soul searching huge
Right.
changes to the document. I'm hoping that when it comes out, if we may have to tweak a little bit to it, but not,
Well,
but we're all getting a different perspective. The septic committee looks at it like, what's the best thing? You know, they're looking at from what's best for Higgins, like not necessarily the enforcement of it, not necessarily the
Right.
political aspects of it, but just what's best to roll this out. And then it had to get filtered through the steering committee. And then, of course, we're going to just do our due diligence before we give it to the plan commission. Plan commission is going to look at it from a perspective that's different than that.
Yes.
They're going to look at enforcement of it. They're going to look at how it fits into the national
Well-
plan, how it fits into, our zoning and then it comes to us and then we've got to look at it from a legislative and a
Well-
practical implementation. And it might be, it's just like the STR. Look how much different that ended up
Yep.
from what it started. You
well,
know?
I guess my only message, and I will articulate that myself with the chair as well at some point. Look, when it goes to the planning commission, I just want their last best effort,
I agree with
not a
that.
first best effort.
But I also
then come
think
back to my
that
table.
as the planning commission's doing their due diligence, you're still gonna have the septic committee or representatives
Yeah.
of that, there, I would say, with some input. And then the other part that I didn't mention yet is public input.
Absolutely.
Which is important as anything. And so once it hits the planning commission, you're gonna have a lot more public scrutiny.
Absolutely.
And a lot of it, if it comes to us and we have to vote on this, I expect, and we listened to the public on the STR and we made changes
Yes.
Yeah, we
to
did.
make it fair. And I feel very good about what we did there. I hope that when we do this,
Feels good.
you're not going to make everybody happy
No.
because, the truth is we have a problem.
So,
But
yeah, and at the end of the day, Jim, on that, this is proposed to be a police powers ordinance again. I hate the way it says police powers, but it's a type of ordinance. And although this board wouldn't be required, like we weren't required for the short-term rental, for us to even have a public hearing, I'm pretty sure I'm going to be one at least recommending or suggesting that we have one at the board level. I know that the planning commission may have some of their own things, but when it comes back, again, this is a process that, we follow with STR and I, like you, I feel good about what's out there. I have actually had attorneys tell me that it's a very well-written document, the STR, from other documents they've seen from, other jurisdictions in the state. So I would think, those are the things we've got to be thinking about. But I just would like to take 30 days and please put the effort in, look at it. These folks have, again, I'm not a subject matter expert and I'm not looking to go after subject matter pieces. I'm just looking to make sure that we don't have anything, myself personally, as a township board member, that has one vote at the very end to either do something or not do something, essentially. And I've seen that happen before in our township. I just want to make sure there's not a one heartbreak piece there that, waits till the very end. And all these people put in a wonderful amount of effort and we stand there and heartbreak it. And I don't want to do that. That's disrespectful to our community. It's disrespectful to the people that have put it together and the hard work they've done. So I just think that's the best way to respect the work.
Agreed.
Everybody comfortable with that?
Yep.
All right. So be prepared at the April meeting to
What about,
look up.
I agree with all that. I think that's the right approach. This draft is available to the public
Mm,
after,
This draft isn't anywhere near
Mm-mm.
I would-
ready.
I personally would think you wouldn't want to make it put out as a public document till it hits the planning commission.
mhm.
Because they're going to have public scrutiny at that point.
So listen, to answer that question is once we've got it reviewed and come April, whatever, April 1st or whatever there, I don't see how you can not.
Right, but not yet, because we haven't even had
It
a
would
discussion
create, I think it would create a lot of
about the document. And it is gonna
misunderstanding.
create a lot of.
I know, but once you acknowledge it as a township and we acknowledge it.
That's the
you send
point.
it to
Oh,
the
yeah,
planning
I get it, but I don't,
That
I
is
wouldn't
the
be putting
foible
it out on the
document.
website because it's not a document
Yeah,
that's
no. it's-
even
no,
close to,
no,
No,
it's
but
not.
it is, once you
Yeah.
give it its blessing and say it's going over to the planning commission.
Sure.
yeah.
You give a
definitely.
blessing, it
That's it.
becomes a foiable document. Whether it's the final document or not makes no difference. We
Totally
went through
agree.
this with the short-term rental as
I think
well.
we're all in agreement.
And yeah, exactly. And I just, you can't stop public from
Well, I don't. I'm not
sending
suggesting that at
misinformation.
all.
You just can't.
I'm just saying, I'm not going to sit here and say, yeah, this is my document.
Nope.
I
No, I
endorse
haven't-
it. I haven't.
You will in
Right.
April if we push it to the planning commission.
Right.
Because that is our
Definitely.
document.
You bet.
Definitely, but
You bet.
not today.
I'm comfortable with it.
All right, very good. Yeah, I,
Probably the first one to talk about, it's work in progress, and I understand that, and that's important for us to do. This has come from the steering committee, a
yes.
I
signed
see
body,
what you're getting at.
and an appointed body of the township board.
Mhm.
And now it's been handed up to the township board,
Yep.
and I'm just wondering if people call for it, can they FOIA this document?
Well, first of
Just
all,
draft,
After April.
yeah,
draft
but
all-
the steering committee board minutes and their meetings are all
That's what I
public.
was just gonna say.
That
is-
document is part of their board minutes. Yeah, it should be put in there. It's definitely. I'm just saying, I wouldn't be putting it up by itself on the website as a document to be reviewed by the public because it's not
Right.
even to that point. But yeah, it is an official document in the minutes of a committee
So,
within the
And with that
township, and
being
it should be
said,
definitely made public in that respect. But only from that respect.
FOIA from.
Definitely.
Okay,
Definitely.
that's
You
all I
bet.
wanted.
All I'm saying is
Sure.
you can't
those
usurp
minutes have been
FOIA.
approved is when it can be posted. The minutes have to be approved unless you're gonna put a draft up.
Well,
This was February 10th, their March, it should be approved at this March.
yeah.
At this March.
And
meeting.
it's part of their minutes. It should be put out. I'm not suggesting any way of hiding this. I'm just suggesting that I wouldn't put it out as a
On our Gerrish Township.
formal document from the township because it's not even close to that point. But it's definitely part of the minutes, just like what
Yeah.
everything is here.
For
Part of the
HOHL,
minutes.
yes, yes. It's a committee.
Okay,
Okay, moving on to, so please be prepared to come to September, work session to decide whether or not you're ready to push that. Yeah, I did. It's 10:15. I'm guessing my sugar is starting to
it
play
is.
games. Yeah.
All right.
All
let's
right,
do it.
moving on. Seasonal, this was just a note on here, seasonal employee
Yeah.
returns update.
Everybody but one?
Everybody one now? we're down
Everybody
to?
but one, or is it
Okay.
two?
There's two and it's the marina staff.
Yeah.
Everybody else has contacted either their manager or the township. We would have preferred that they did it to the clerk's office, but we'll take the manager and next year we'll make sure it gets done.
Said either, so.
Yep,
we-
we're
we
good.
did just-
We're good. We're good. So it looks like we're in pretty good shape for that stuff. So those folks were sent out letters in the fall. And, look, unless managers had problems or otherwise, they could reasonably expect their positions back and to contact us and let us know, and they have. So that's a new thing,
Yeah.
and I'm pleased with the results. Number 11 was the add-on, Roscom and its add-on, because I got it about a day ago. Everybody did. Jim Anderson got it. I got it. Michelle got it. And it has to do with the cost of services for the Roscommon County Equalization Department. This is something that's required to do every year with them. Michelle, can you give us what we did last year?
We did option A, the
Yeah.
purpose.
What I thought. So I would look to move that to Tuesday and if you guys are all good with that, Jim Anderson, especially. If you're good with the recommendation of I would need authorization to sign that. And it has to be back by no later than April 20th. So we'll be ahead of the game. Y'all good with that or no?
Yeah, this affects the assessment more
Yep.
than it does me, but.
Yeah.
But I know last year, and I was new at that time, historically it used option A, and it makes sense because they're doing the postage and everything and mailing for the assessment notices and all that, and you couldn't do it yourself
No.
for that price.
Not when you figure in somebody's time. spent
Plus,
to
it
do
gives
it.
us access to all the GIS
Mhm.
and all that stuff that the county's got, all the database, so stuff that you're using.
Mhm.
To select option A. And cost of service. Equalization board. Okay, I have 4 items after all of this so far, of all the agenda pieces.
Yep.
All right.
So,
pretty.
So when we do the,
Police,
Please.
GFL.
when I do, yep, you're gonna authorize me to sign GFL renewal contract. Okay, we are then now on to, public comments again, public comments in the room. Nothing in the room? We have anybody online? I can't see. No, any public comment there online? Okay, not hearing any, then we're going to move forward to the board comments or announcements. Jim Osling, we'll go left this time.
Good.
I think I've said my piece. Don't think I have anything else.
Okay. Jim Anderson.
We've got the hardware now for the PayPal accounts. I've got 2 machines. I would like to test them, and then I'm going to do a little training with the PD and the building department, probably ourselves.
Mhm.
I'm meeting with Ed Panyard this afternoon regarding the PayPal button that'll be used for their website for donations for that'll go directly in. Well, the money will flow into our receipt account and then into the fund for the health of Higgins Lake. So, but I've been working with that platform and it's not too hard to figure out. Settling with the county on the winter and summer taxes next week. Everything's going according to plan. Marina, I think we're down to everybody's pretty much paid up for their slips except for we had about 12 left, Mary. Something like that. They have not. There was a couple that decided not to utilize their renewal, and I forward every time like we got that information on to Russ, so he's handling that. There is an issue with BSNAs. Maybe some of you got an email or whatever.
We did.
The point and pay P&P system that they've got is a third party thing that when somebody pays for their taxes online, BSNA is rolling out their own in-house, and there seems to be some competition as to which one they would like me to pick. So I'm waiting to see how the dust settles a little bit because I don't have to make that decision right away because there's some conflicting information. But either way, whatever we pick, hopefully will be what's best for our constituents, not what's best for them.
Was
So
that a 2027 date where it would be effective? Is that what they're looking at? You have to
that's what
choose
it
that.
kind of sounded like, but the summer taxes would start before that. So I'm not sure. I want to take the time. I've got a couple different emails. I want to take time to review it to get a true understanding of because there's conflicted information between the two. Either way, when people use that platform, they're paying, if they're using a credit card, they're paying 3.5%. We do not get that money. That
Right.
goes to the credit card company or the third party group. And that's how they're funding the platform, because as far as I know, I've never paid for that point and pay. I think it's coming out of the BSNA contract that we have for the software that we use. I don't recall seeing a separate bill for that, so I assume, and I guess that's best I can put it, that they're making their money off the platform from those credit card fees, and therefore they don't have a problem
Yeah.
with it. And I could see why BSNA would be enticed to have their own platform because there's revenue there, a serious amount of it, because if you take in, you know,
Yeah.
$1 million worth of money on credit card on that platform, that's $35,000 in fees that they're collecting. So anyways, whatever recommendation I make is going to be best for the taxpayers, not for anybody else. So that's where we're at, as I can recall for this week.
And I could recall.
Okay, Mary Jo? Other than,
Spring?
Aruba was a little warmer than it is here.
Is it not?
Yeah,
Awesome vacation. Was glad to be able to do that.
very good.
Glad to be home.
Yeah, yeah. Not me. I didn't want to leave.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I like my own bed.
all right, very good. Michelle?
A couple things I just wanted to mention. I think everybody gets the information from MTA, but there's a lot of, I have struggled with this word, legislative things going on in regards to the zoning piece. And I ask everybody to just take the time to look through it. There's a letter that is being supported by the MTA in regards to some of this. And I think I went ahead and sent my letter on, but if everybody could just take the time to look at that. This piece here, I haven't had really I haven't delved into it, but I don't know if everybody gets this stuff from Eagle, but talking about the review of the proposed changes, you know, they have been working on a sewer system.
Statewide sewer. ordinance.
Thank you, Jim. Yeah,
Septic ordinance?
so now so I don't know, like if they're getting back to
Which one did that, who's the sponsor on that, Bill? Do you have that one?
Department of Licensing and Regulatory Affairs, Eagle. Has Eagle, Whitmer, Department of Energy.
So it hasn't been legislative yet.
No, but they're back at it is the point I was trying to
Oh, yeah.
make, is that, you know, with in mind what we are doing. Again, no rush, don't mistake me, but because it'll take them a lot longer to get it together, but it looks like they're back at trying to make some changes to that.
Yeah.
Time.
You know, people talk about, we're the only state in the country that doesn't have a
Septic.
statewide septic ordinance.
State law.
But we've got 10 or 12 health departments across the state that legislate what's to be done with your septics. And they're geared more toward each of the regional areas. UP
Yeah.
is a lot different than it is down here versus
Absolutely.
downstate. So it's not like we don't have anything. And, you know, I think it kind of gets lost a little bit in the weeds there
Yeah,
as far as
it does.
how big that problem is, but.
Last thing is the May 6th is the election. We'll be getting absentee ballots around the 16th of this month that will be getting out there. This election is just for the school millage. They're going after it alone, as far as there's nothing else being voted on that day.
Is that a Headley rollback? Do you know what it is? What they're asking school?
The school, I
Is-
think they're asking the same thing as they did last time.
The rollback.
I just was saying to Lynn, I haven't seen a lot of
Haven't
information
seen
out
language
there
on it. Okay.
But yeah, I just wanted to make everybody aware that that is coming. If you're out of town and we don't know it, if we don't have your out of town address, get with the clerk's office and we'll get a ballot sent to where you're at.
Very good.
That's it.
Yeah, on your piece, just a quick comment. The state is looking at getting involved in, or shall I say, taking away some local
Yeah.
Zoning
Big time.
decisions and
Big.
right down to some real life property issues, if you
Yeah.
will. I'm not sure. I want to look at the bill. Well, no, I have a copy.
Okay.
I just haven't had a chance. I'm wondering. I haven't analyzed the bills yet.
Yeah.
To see, you know, who's putting them forward. There was one, and I forget which one. There was Senator Singh, I believe it was. It was on one thing that I looked at, and of course he's not going to re-up and run again. So I'm not really sure whether or not that's going to get some real legs to it or not.
Just
but-
some of this stuff,
Well,
like
yeah.
allowing mobile homes anywhere.
Yeah, no,
You
it's
know,
a,
that
it's,
kind of
yeah.
stuff. It's like,
Yeah, Jim and I talked about it Jim Anderson and I talked about it the other day, and there's some real disconcerting things in it. And, myself, I'm gonna sign, my own personal on that piece, to
Yes.
join MTA and I'm opposing those types of things. They degrade local control, issues. And to your
and that's
point,
exactly what they're doing.
everybody is different across the
Yep,
state, your
yep.
communities. And once again, it's another attempt to put a cookie cutter over the
Yeah.
top of the state of Michigan, if you will. So I encourage you to look at that, send your own, sign on to your own or whatever. I know I'm doing that. So, from my end of the table here for what I call really unfinished business, but I sent you all emails, board, to remind you to get out to Maplehurst. Maybe in April, I'd like to get this on the agenda. Mr. Tim Coffey, who lives over on Maplehurst, had contacted me about, obviously the speed limit signs on Maplehurst. And of course, I got a hold of the PD on it. PD's been working on, things on their end that we like to have information about. And then the road commission was basically notified, and Roger Saxton sent us an email, which is what I call the boilerplate of that and how decisions are made on the speed of a particular area. And of course, those we're all familiar with, that it's the length of the whole road, not the segment of one, basically. And so we would be placed into a position, do we want to order or have them do a traffic safety study? That's where they go out and look at the speeds and, do an 85th percentile, and they do all the things that they do in their engineering, if you will, to decide whether or not those cars are traveling,
Do we pay for that?
that's no, no,
We just
not
have to request it.
non-posted. Currently, it's a non-posted 55. So yes, folks, that means that behind the school on the dirt road back there, on the dirt portion of West Maplehurst, as it travels across, you could travel 55 miles an hour and launch yourself off that dirt hill.
Sure could.
But which I've seen some youth of our community sometimes have had some problems. But anyways, we get, there's traffic safety data, there's all those. So I just need you to get yourself really up to speed on what's happened in this email chain, if you will, that's gone on, and go take a look yourself. I know Joe Osling did the other day. Take a look at yourself.
Can we request, like, if they were to do the
No, you
study
can't.
of when? You can't like say.
No, you
No.
can't.
Come July.
No.
No, you can't.
No.
No, you can't.
So they're gonna do it the dead of winter
No.
when.
Well, and
That's
some
been
officials-
my luck with, and especially when, not so much with the road commission, but because they then have to turn and go to the 7th District Traffic Safety Division of the state police to review that work, for a traffic control order. So everybody's kind of got to dot the i's and agree on those things. And I personally had experience over the years of trying to get the speed on Oakwood adjusted by the high school there, and they came over one year in like July or August when there's no traffic at the high school, and got our speed
Yeah.
study and got our traffic study, and
Well, look at how.
there was nothing to study. So-
The core school, for that to
Yeah.
get, we had to ask for.
Well, and look what you got.
And
Yeah.
yeah,
Ultimately.
so it,
So, and because there's a driveway count, there's a bunch. So moral of the story is, not to keep moving on. So just please educate yourself with that, because that certainly will be willing, or would be on the April work session, and then to move forward to decide whether or not we're doing that for Mr. Coffey's request and really for the township. So the next one is the compost site. Compost site, I was not aware when we put in the new server for the township. Apparently in December, there was a problem with the changeover to that for the card readers and the controller over at the compost site electronic gate. I was then on vacation, and then I got notified, just a couple weeks, maybe 2 weeks now ago, by Honor Security asking me what we were going to do with that situation. So the workaround that Kodiak did was to leave our old server up running that particular program. And our old server, a week or two ago, decided it was going to puke another switch, and it's in a declining state of not an option for the future. I consulted with Kodiak, also consulted with Honor Security, and Kodiak agrees that the best thing for us to do would be to move that stuff, a new controller, a new reader over there, move that stuff to our building security software that we already have. And that'll be managed from there, and it's in the cloud. So we don't have any hard drive pieces here at all on it. That being said, I asked them for a quote. The quote was for $2,718.20. And that included the premium software for access to it for 3 years as well. They will migrate all the data from our current hard drive, so there's no data entry for us. Those fobs will all be good out there. The data just will be migrated under this price and whatever to get us up and running. It would take, once we signed, it would take us 2 to 3 weeks before, for delivery of that product and requiring a 50%. So it's been a process getting there. It's less than 3,000. It doesn't require board approval. And since spring looks like it's kind of upon us, if you will, if you really believe it.
Again.
Yeah, but probably the best thing for us to do, I determined, was to move forward. And I did sign it on behalf, and it is under 3,000 and in policy. And they require half down. So Michelle and Lynn have processed that. And so hopefully we're on our way to a new day with that. The only noticeable thing that might be out there is that keypad out there isn't going to look like a keypad. It's a digital piece. So there will be a little bit different look, but the existing fobs you have will not be affected. That's what they tell me.
So the keypad goes away?
What's that? Yeah, my understanding was, yes, it gets replaced with a digital piece on that. And so obviously whatever exterior, like coded ones, if anybody has, I know the police department has a static number. You have a static number. Likely you're going to need a new digital card or a fob. Those that would need access. And I don't think that's a deal breaker for that. So I just wanted to inform you of those things. Those things are in the works. Once again, we've had an hour and 35-minute meeting. Is it? Yeah. Suffice it to say, not much goes on, right?
Nothing.
So anywho, having that said, and we had public comment opportunity, I would entertain a motion and a support to end this meeting at 11:30.
38, 10.
Or excuse me, 10:38. Sorry,
That's okay.
it's showing up.
I know, buddy.
Support.
Okay, I got a movement by Jim Anderson and a support by Jim Osling. Any further discussion for it? All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, the same. Motion carries. Thank you. All right.